Welcome to the November 26th, the Thanksgiving version of the 2229 Main Street Advisory Task Force. Chair Paul Bohm. I'll call the roll first. Court Booth here.
Dan Nolan here.
Pam Rockwell here.
Carl Seidman here.
Rich Feely here.
And we may have some more people coming, but we do have a quorum. Kind of a short agenda with a couple of little additions that I want to talk about here in a minute. But let's start with the approval of the November 12th meeting minutes, which you have in your packet.
You were there, I was not. They look good.
Always look good. Mr. Field at the helm. Any comments, questions, additions? Do I have a motion?
Moved. Second.
Okay, a roll call to accept the minute of November 12th. Do you need a minute there?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
We can do a slow roll call.
That's good. That's intense.
Go to accept the minutes of November 12th.
No.
Rich Feely?
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
Pam?
Aye.
Pam?
Give her another minute.
Okay.
I wrote
Court?
Aye.
Paul? Aye. We don't have anybody on Zoom, okay?
I was too talkative that night. I was too talkative. I think you were.
Yeah, no, you were the one who said, hey, we're not a business.
Yeah, no, I'm happy about that, yeah.
And that was nicely in the final report.
Right. That was it.
That went through me and Pam and it was like.
It bounced around, as per usual.
Yeah, I'm good. Rich, I'm sorry, thank you.
Okay. You're the last vote. Okay, unanimously, we accepted minutes of November 12th.
I just want to thank Rich for the elegance of that addition that I had put forward. So it was really well written, and thank you.
Yeah, no, it's a good comment and good addition. We're down to the end of comments. We still have one comment to discuss tonight. Although I thought there would be, but that's we'll get to that in a minute. So one thing there, we conducted 2 executive sessions on April 25th, 2024 and October 1st, 2024. We have already approved those minutes. This is probably going to be, whether this is our last meeting or not, I'd like a motion to release those minutes subject to, and let me read what I have in mind, and somebody can make a motion if you agree.
Want a motion to approve release at a time to be determined by the select board?
That would be fine, because that's the intent. So the motion is to approve the minutes, time to be, okay, decided by the select board. Because obviously we're not releasing it tonight. We don't know when that date's going to be. It's not up to us. We won't be the task force by then. So voting on the motion.
Just a question on it?
Yes.
I mean, I think it's a wonderful idea. Is that a protocol that's okay to give our authority to another body to do that? I don't know.
I checked with Chris. I don't think we have any choice. I could check on Terry's.
I'm just not familiar with
Our authority stems from the select board.
Agreed, yeah, agreed.
So we are approving the release. But the timing is not ours to make it.
And does the select board determine finally whether they want to release it? I would imagine they have their own authority to decide yes or no on that, right?
If you give it to them,
So Terry, Terry's on the line, but Terry, I think that authority rolls up to the select board when the task force created by the select board, it goes dormant or gets disbanded, the authorization to release executive session minutes.
I think so, but another way you could phrase it is you say the minutes are not to be released until the matter is concluded. And if you want to add that the select board can decide when the matter is concluded, you can put that in. But basically that's the issue. When you're finished negotiating and now the town owns the site or we don't, or, the matter's concluded, that's when the minutes would be released.
Right, I think that's implied with the motion, but let's
Well, but I'm happy to restate it.
restate the motion, please.
To approve release of the minutes at the time that the matter is concluded, subject such time to be determined by the select board.
I think that works.
We're talking about the 2 minutes of the executive sessions.
Yeah.
Okay. There's motion second. Voting.
And the dates will show up in that motion.
Yes.
Yes, and
Very good.
you have those dates, right? Okay. Court.
Aye.
Pam.
Aye.
Carl. Aye. Rich.
Aye.
I say aye, and I see that
Carl.
Kurt has joined us. Did you pick up what we're doing here, Kurt?
I did. Sorry for being late. Zoom was uncooperative, but I'll give an eye to that.
That's okay. The communication very slow from Carlisle, so that's.
Show up in time.
Do you vote aye to approve the executive session minutes subject to, well, the motion that's on the table?
He said yes.
He said yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And you too.
Did it?
And you too.
Did I say yes? Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we got the executive session minutes out of the way. Final report. So we're here to kind of vote on the release, but there's one. There's some correspondence on a suggested clarification, and you have that in front of you. This is an excerpt from section 5, the risk assessment section, and the 4th bullet on task force findings. So I showed you the red line. I think the suggestion, Rich, you can explain the genesis of your concern.
Well, I was confused because, I read this to mean, or I thought what we were trying to say was that nobody ate or would be expected to eat more than the reasonable maximum estimated daily volume. Makes sense. And then that went into the determination of whether there was a risk. But then it said that the resulting in the total assumed ingestion well above the RME. And I wasn't sure, well, is that only if they go down and start messing around in the swamp? And Kurt suggested the RME was applied to wading activities and sediment and interactions with soil. That's fine, but that doesn't mean that anything exceeded the RME. In other words, I understand they did assume they could get into the, drainage area, but that, and that they would be exposed through that activity, but it was assumed that they would be exposed at the reasonable maximum estimated daily volume while recreating or living at the site.
So this is the assumptions section, right? The 4 bullets stating what the assumptions are. And this was. And so
Page 35.
this was Kurt's suggested clarification. So are you?
I'm totally
You're fine with it?
comfortable with it. I mean, I think that's what we meant to say, but I got confused when it started talking about above the RME.
Okay, so this is the new phrasing in there. So
It's actually just a deletion.
it's a deletion. It's just.
Well, and an ad.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
We're saying-
actually, the part of what's deleted is actually. This RME was applied to wading activities and sediment and interactions with soil. Resulting in, and from
Right.
resulting in on, we're deleting.
Okay.
So we're still saying the
Yeah.
RME applies to
We're saying the
living
same
and working
thing.
and recreating at the site, and also it applies to waiting activities and interactions with
It's not
staff.
changed, it's just clarifying.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's a conservative assumption, because we don't think people are gonna be paddling around in the swamp.
Yeah, I think that the intent was to say the exposure was the reasonable maximum exposure to soil and also to sediment, and combining those two mathematically makes it above the RMA for one. But to explain that in a succinct way, I think is probably more words than we need. So I had suggested just truncating it.
Okay,
I like this, I'd like to
Yeah,
do a
so
motion
that
to
would-
accept this change.
so that was the change. There's also 2 typos, which,
Well,
we don't have.
one is just that there is no such thing as subsidence farming.
Right, it was a type, it's subsistence farming. So I have changed that in the revised document, I added this in the revised document. So the final report that we'll be discussing has this change, and then the subsistence change. It has been proofed, Donna proved it, there was just formatting changes, and she actually did a good job of paginating the thing, so the pagination will be a little clearer. We'll start on page 1 will be the executive summary as opposed to the cover page. Those are the only changes, so I'd like to, unless there's any further discussion, I'd like to entertain a motion to. I move approval of the report as amended. It's approval and the release of the report. Yeah, the release.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any
Question,
discussion?
yeah, is it still subject to additional formatting and minor corrections? If somebody finds a typo, they don't need to come back to us. Can we make sure that's clear?
If anybody finds a typo, it's been proved, I've read it, I think everybody's read it.
But you read the proof version that came after what we sent out to us?
Yes.
Right.
You haven't seen the proof version.
Okay.
That actually I don't think there are any typos found in the proof version. There were a couple of formatting changes, spacing changes. You know, let's not worry about the spacing change. It's gonna look like you've seen. It's gonna have the photograph on page 2. The printing, I'll take care of the printing. I think we'll probably have 20 hard copies of the report and hard copies of the appendices printed up for the select board and staff. And I'm working with Terry and Chris, just figuring out how many copies we need. Other than that, at the same time that we'll release it to the select board, we'll put it online.
I mean, the court makes a good point. I mean, if somebody, you know, I've seen PhD theses that have been vetted by everybody and there's been a mistake, you know, and so just a mistake that could make it clearer. We should be able to do that if it subsequently.
If you find.
I think Don is ready to like put this
Yeah.
online tomorrow if.
Well, yeah, I want to vote on the report. If there are any. If you find any typos, we're not gonna change any phraseology or substance.
No,
If there's punctuation or typing, if you find it between now and printing, I'll talk about scheduling in a minute. But yeah, I mean, the chances of that happening are not 0.
but none of us have seen the most recent copy. That's why I want that caveat in there.
Well, nothing has changed
No, I know
since
that.
that, other than the changes we just talked about.
But that's the version that got sent to you, right?
That one's old.
Oh, okay.
The
The
what we
version,
have
I
online
sent out the version
from a week
last
ago
week.
is the newest. Yeah,
Since that version went out, it was proofread with some spacing changes. We're making this change tonight we just discussed, and subsidence changed to subsistence in 2 places in the report.
And then there was the one place where we had the scenario tables aligned, but the language was still referring to.
Scenario 1. So,
Scenario 1 is totally private, whereas
yeah,
we were being consistent that scenario 3
got this straight out.
was the totally private.
So, Court, to your point, if there are any change, so we'll approve the report for release, but it's not going to be released until 16th of December. The select board meeting.
if our release simply authorized typographical errors or simple formatting to be further cleaned up if necessary, then our approval is final.
I'll accept that amendment to the motion.
Oh,
Okay, so I'm gonna state the motion one more time, because our clerk is gonna have to take this.
Approval and release of the report. And to authorize any minor typographical or formatting changes.
Between now and time.
Between now and time it's delivered to the select.
Okay, do I have a second?
second,
Okay, no further discussion. Voting, Court.
Yeah, discussion. I'm so pleased with it. I'm very, very pleased with it. So thank you, everybody.
Well, I was gonna make a comment after we voted, but it's okay.
Aye.
Pam,
Ken Rockwell, aye.
Aye.
All right,
Kurt,
Aye.
and Paul votes aye, so we have voted to accept and release the report, and so it's a big step, and yeah, okay. It's been an amazing group of people. Everybody's worked hard. The contributions to this report are so even and so deep around the table. It's just I haven't worked. I've done a lot of reports with a lot of people, and usually one person writes it at the end, and everybody reads it. Everybody contributed to this report, and it's a great report. Very, very pleased with it. I think the select board is going to be pleased with it, and they will use it because it's real guidance there. And we've given them a roadmap. We've given them sort of next steps on institutional controls and risk communication, which will probably be modified, but we give them suggestions on how to proceed. So I agree, Court. I think it's a good report. We should be proud of the report. And
It was a really thorough investigation everybody did. Everybody really looked at everything really deeply. That was really helpful.
In my most recent reading, I tried to adopt the perspective of the select board best I could, and thought, yes, to your point, this is going to have great utility for them. I think they're going to use it.
it's clear. I think it has some main points. It's structured well, and but it's a great job. I think I'll be proud of the report. I'll have to say, when we first sat down here in May of 2023, it wasn't clear we were going to converge on something. We all had different opinions. We had different concerns, very valid concerns. I think we worked through those quite well with the research that we did. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of new information acquired. So there's a lot of input, not only from the public, but from town departments. And so there's a lot of stakeholders that had input. This is just not us writing the report. And we had, Mina's help to guide us in the legal part. So the team here is wider, and I think I tried to make it clear in the report, the team is wider than the task force. And of course, the staff, Chris and Megan, and Terry is our guide. So we all should pat ourselves on the back here. Terrific. And we miss Carrie. I'm glad we were able to dedicate the report to her. She left us so quickly. Yeah, so sadly. So it's great to acknowledge her. The final proofing plan is, feel free to read. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to get in shape where we'll talk about printing it. I think the formatting is in good shape. The pagination is in good shape.
So the question I have about the pagination, did it just change so that if you're looking at something that is numbered page 2, if you want to print it, it's page 3?
Yeah, it's like usually the PDF page 5 is page 2. That's happens a lot. I didn't want to. Page 1 is not the title page, and page 2 is not the photo. We're starting. Page 1 is the report. The table of contents and figures have Roman numerals, so it's typical. You have to say it's page 3, but it's PDF page 5.
Okay, it's the rare PDF in which the page numbers of the document, the PDF of the same.
I think it's paginated correctly now, and you'll see that. I will, before it's printed, I'm going to circulate this version, the paginated report with all the changes, so you can look at it one more time. The plan is to release it at a select board meeting on the 16th. I've asked for 5 minutes. Mary gave me 7 minutes. I intend that to be just a presentation because they have to read it. Terry warned me that there's probably gonna be questions, but I don't think they need to read the report. And then, I think early February is the time when, Mary was thinking of having a sort of extended session. I will emphasize at the meeting in, December 16th that I'd like them to proceed with a letter to, if they want to wait, until we have that discussion on the 7th, fine. But they have the report if they want to initiate the discussion with the EPA and get Megan stuff, get Mina started. I don't think they have to wait until they sit down with us, but they may want to. It's up to them. But I don't see there's any reason. At the briefing last time, I said, you guys could, you have the recommendation, you could initiate the process, but Cameron said, no, let's wait till we have the report. So now they'll have the report, and it's up to the select board when they want to initiate that crucial first step.
Paul,
Yes.
I'm a little bit confused about one thing about the timetable.
Yeah.
Generally, the way we have the select board meeting, all the materials for the meeting are in the agenda packet. And that packet is posted the Thursday or Friday before the meeting. So are you intending to put a copy of the report in that packet by sending it to town staff, or are you intending that no one will see it until you physically hand it out on the 16th?
What is your preference? You put it in the meeting packet so you can.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you're really ready and you're voting to make it public, it could go in the packet, and it could start going on the website and get things moving. If for any reason you want to hold back, you can physically wait if you want.
No, there's no reason. I thought there'd be some separation between the time you get this 100-page report with appendices and the time you want to actually discuss it. It's probably more than a weekend. So I'll put it in the packet, and if there are questions on the 16th, I'm sure who's ever there will be prepared to answer them. But I think the intent was to have a deeper discussion at some point down the road. But it's up to you.
So I'm confused, Terry. A packet would be a bunch of PDFs that would then be appended to each other, that would be publicly on the website for someone preparing to go to the select board meeting, or only select board members would see it?
Everybody.
So if you're gonna do that, why don't we just post it on the website?
Well, we're gonna do it at the same time. It's just the question whether it's in the meeting packet or not. It would be online on the 16th.
Actually, I think that's a good idea. Why don't we put the executive summary in the packet and a link to the website, and post it on the website that same day. And then the packet is not unduly long with all the appendices and everything, but the executive summary is in there. And that way everyone can read the executive summary. Then if they want to read the whole report, there's the link.
And then they'll get a paper copy.
So okay, let me just clarify your clarification. So the meeting packet, you want the executive summary, but to deliver the whole printed version at the meeting.
Right.
And when you are putting the meeting packet together, post the whole report on the website.
Yeah.
On our website.
On our website.
Yeah.
With
I am not here. Mary Hartman may have a different idea. So that's just my suggestion right now, but maybe Paul and Mary talk about it and figure out the best way you want to do it.
Yeah. So it means creating a separate PDF of the executive summary.
I mean, the intent is not to have the select board get in a big discussion on the 16th, because I know there's a lot of other stuff going on that night about the capital budget and other,
Right.
and it's very busy. So we're definitely not going to be ready to discuss it that night.
Right, the intent is just to get it in your hands, and so let's talk about exactly what you need in the packet, but I will have hard copies on the 16th for the select board. And
Right.
it will be online before that meeting, the whole report will be online before that
For the
meeting,
select board meeting.
before that select board meeting,
Great.
to be confirmed. Okay. And it's gonna be ready, I mean, the report will be ready shortly, we'll just figure out how we're gonna get it printed. The only piece of the report which won't be in its entirety is the RU, the 1,000-page RU report. I think we are gonna include
There's 5 pages of an executive summary.
the executive summary of the
It could
RU
be-
report,
could
could
be
be in the
printed.
hard copy, but the entire RU report, which is online right now.
Yeah.
But all the other pieces will be there. Okay,
For formatting the final report, will we have hyperlinks from the table of contents so people can leap to the different sections? It's a
From the
minor
table of
thing, but it's
contents.
convenient.
It's not in there now.
It's
It
not.
wasn't in there when I gave it to Donna, so when I last saw it. So.
do you wanna be able to do that
I
online?
think so, if we want it really functional, because it is 100 pages, and then if somebody wants to go straight to health or straight to reuse thing, they don't have to wade through it.
Okay, well, that's a good point, what are the features? So the hyperlinks in TOC are good, hyperlinks to the appendices,
It's already in there.
it's in there,
The links are there.
hyperlinks to the
And
figures.
Donna will,
No, the figures are,
no,
so
the
the
figures are
hyperlinks-
in the
right, okay,
they're links to the appendices because they're different documents.
okay, good point,
And the links that are there are the ones that Donna will, that they're what the documents are in the repository, so that she
Yeah.
just has to put them online so that they're visible.
yeah, I'll have to make sure, we'll work to make sure they all work.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments on all of that? We'll get further scheduling, I don't think we need any more meetings. I think this should, although we're gonna have to figure a way to approve the minutes of this meeting, if we don't have another
We have
meeting.
to approve the minutes of the meeting that approves the minutes. And then-
That was known as an infinite duel when I was running the program.
How do we do that? What are other task forces when they go out of business? What do they do? So we had a meeting, it's on the calendar for the 13th. I'm inclined to cancel that meeting.
What you could do is see if you have a quorum on December 16th. And if you do,
I
at
know
the
this
select
is-
board meeting, just approve them then.
I know this is silly, but December 16th is really not a time when we might be valuable to be at the select board meeting, because it's gonna be a 5-minute presentation while we're
Agreed.
worried about something else.
Yeah.
It's a select board meeting in January
Yeah.
or February or whatever.
So
Can we
do-
vote by email?
Well, and we have another, I
There
don't
must
think we
be a
can.
format for this.
Let me go somewhere else though that might
Let's do
help.
precedent, go ahead.
And that is, what do you say to the select board when they ask, when would a public hearing be, optimal? Because that public hearing would be another chance for you to also convene a meeting.
Right, we haven't talked to,
That's true.
that's the final point on the scheduling. It's up to us when we have a public hearing, should be so. I doubt the select board's gonna want any changes, but it's, because it's final report, but I hope they don't. But I'd like them to fully discuss it, and then we feel comfortable that we can go public, understanding that what the select board has told us, so that would probably be in February.
If they're particularly risk averse, and I don't think they are, they might be more comfortable with a public hearing before the first letter of intent to EPA.
Possible.
Yeah.
That they
It's
want us
not
to
our
get
job,
that.
though. So this is not,
It's really risk averse. Because if you try to quantify what the risk is in sending a letter to EPA.
None.
There's none, other than the letter is none.
Right, because it's already.
Funding town council to do something that
Yeah.
starts a financial risk, but there's no risk in sending the letter. Now, they probably want the public hearing before they initiate negotiations. But that's probably not gonna happen that quickly anyway. So,
our job is to submit the report,
Mhm.
and that's,
Fair enough.
that's
Yeah.
what we're doing.
okay. Public hearing, do we wanna talk about a possible date for that, or we wanna wait for the select board discussion?
It would be their hearing and we are in attendance to provide support for our report. Is that the way
Is
you
it a select board
understand
hearing? Or is it our hearing?
it? Terry?
That was my understanding, but I'm sure if you wanted to conduct the hearing, we could do it that way too.
Why don't we wait to schedule that until we have the meeting with the select board, we'll figure that out.
Mhm.
We wanna have that,
Actually, it might be productive if you guys recommended something. Instead of everybody just sitting around trying to figure out their calendars, whatever. Do you guys think the public hearing should be held this winter? Then you should say so. Do you think it should be held in the evening? Or whatever, make a recommendation. It doesn't have to have a specific date. You could say, do you think it should be at a regular select board meeting or on its own night? And I think if you make a recommendation, then the board will have something to say yes or no to.
Terry, does the board need this report presented, this hearing before they actually fund the lawyer?
Right. Well, I can't speak for all 5 board members. I think some of them feel that way, but I really have not polled them or anything.
That's a reason to do it in February and not.
yeah, so let me just throw it, I think we ought to have a public meeting. Whether that's our meeting with the select board, or the select board meeting with us, we discuss, but I think the meeting should occur in February. It should be an evening, 6 o'clock, it should be after working hours. But I think it should be in February, we should kind of get that
Yeah,
done.
I think we ought to get it
Yeah.
over with once people have had a chance to absorb it. I think
Okay. So I
The
think,
selectmen shall hold a public hearing, quote unquote.
is that what the charge
Yeah,
says?
so it's not us.
Okay. So we recommend that, thank you for reading the charge, I haven't read that in a while. So a recommendation, that hearing in the evening.
Yeah, probably early February because school vacation is the 3rd week of February. And then there's only 1 week left. I don't know. I think you should recommend before February vacation.
Okay. So technically, we don't expire until May of next year, so. I mean, we could conceivably convene another meeting if we had to sometime after that. I don't envision that, but so that's scheduling and.
So what did we decide about approving these minutes that we'll get them clean? I mean, people have comments, we'll get the comments in and then we just approve it, in a quick caucus at the time of the public hearing.
Well, I mean, if we can do it by email, why not?
Well, if we do it by email,
that's
Can we do it by
fine.
email?
This has got to be, there has got to be a procedure for this. This,
I don't
this happened-
Can't do it by email.
Can't do it by email.
We'd have to do a quick, scheduled meeting with the.
Well, I mean, certainly would be a scheduled meeting.
So
for the
this,
select
Okay,
board.
let's table that. I'll find out. Chris and I will find out. We'll
yeah,
speak
there's
to.
gotta be.
so I'll say, this is one set of minutes that I actually want published because it's our vote and our comments.
Yeah,
So let's plan to do it at the public hearing, and then the minutes for the public hearing,
That's not our meeting.
it's not our meeting, but we will need to post it in order to have our meeting to approve the minutes.
But meanwhile, finding out how it's typically
We can
done would
post.
be useful, because it's gotta be typically done, and, I mean, it happens all the time.
I think we just never had minutes to the last meeting of the reviews.
right. So your suggestion is we convene at the public hearing.
To approve this set of minutes, and then the minutes for the quick convene at the
our own
public meeting go into Never Never Land, the
Right.
way other.
That sounds good, sounds good.
Okay. So as far as, so again, on the thank you social side. On December 13th, we have no meeting, but at 7 o'clock, I will be in the Colonial Inn, sitting there with a glass of wine. If you want to join me on, we should have a little celebration on some, in lieu of our next meeting. Come on over for a half hour.
13th,
We'll sit there, Terry, you two, and Megan and Chris.
So that's a Friday. Is that what you thinking?
No, I'm sorry, maybe I have the date wrong. Let's see, the date of our next,
The 10th would be the Tuesday.
I'm sorry, it's the 10th. God. I'm losing it, the chair's losing it here. After
Hold it
37
together
meetings,
long enough.
after 37 meetings in the report. Yes, it's the 10th, December 10th.
Are you gonna send out an email on that, or is this?
A reminder?
It's a confirmation.
Yeah, we don't want it to be seen as a scheduled meeting of ours.
Oh, right.
It's just,
Because then
you know,
we have to take minutes.
a note from Paul saying,
It's
just
not,
please join me.
it's unofficial.
Cut break and don't talk
Each
about it.
minutes will show, each minutes will show this is our last meeting, you know, unless called together other than the attendance at the select board here.
This is the party.
This party.
Yeah, I mean, I'll state that, you know, this is the scheduled meeting. But that doesn't mean we don't want to be.
Yeah,
called.
I'm gonna miss you guys. It's been
You
really
know what to do
interesting.
with your Tuesdays, right?
What?
You don't know what to do with your Tuesday evenings.
I'll
You'll
figure it
manage.
out. I'll find something to do.
Well, I just did want to say before everybody leaves, I know you and Pam Rockwell know this, but both a number of the housing interested people in town and several of the conservation people are gonna take a tour tomorrow at 11.
Oh, good.
I thought, I mean, it turned out to be the conservation people weren't even really aware of what was there. And I think just as the select board and the finance committee went, oh, wow, this is interesting. I think it will be helpful. So anyhow, if anybody feels like trudging around the site in the cold again, we'll be there tomorrow at 11.
Do you want copies of the reuse map to have that talk about which areas were?
I don't think we need it yet. I mean, we'll, you know, talk briefly about, or I'm sure Bruce will show, this is what we're gonna finish cleaning up, and then the bog and the woods are kind of self-explanatory. But you know, maybe I'll just say, you know, we expect the report to be posted online by the 16th.
So I'll be there. I think you're
I'm going to.
yeah, I always like to go. This changes each time we go there, so it's always interesting to see.
I just love it when all those fire engines go past my house and I know they're not going to start. It's not burning down. Just, I love going there actually.
So we
Walking
said,
around.
have we said to adjourn our last meeting?
Yeah, I think we should.
The report to the annual report, you're writing that? You're gonna just do it and send it.
Right,
You saw it.
I'm gonna take what you've done, yeah.
Okay.
Then thank you for taking care of that. And thank you for thank you for all the work that was done just, good shape, so I'll take care of that. I think there's no other unfinished business.
I just would like to say that, again, it's been such a pleasure and honor working with all of you guys. You're one of the most talented groups I've ever worked with. Very experienced, very talented and hardworking, and it's just been such a pleasure. All of you, thank you so much for everything. It's a terrific report. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your families.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you, and we are adjourned.